believed.
And trying to poke sort of small holes, Lawrence, in the case of the evidence, the forensic evidence. There was a very short, very brief testimony by one of the forensic examiners in the case, which essentially she said no DNA on the gun, so you can't prove that small element, which is that Zimmerman claimed that Trayvon went for, maybe touched his gun. That didn't happen. Has there been enough testimony on the forensic side to really build for the prosecution a case that George Zimmerman has been inconsistent?
Well, there are other items of physical evidence that we haven't heard about yet. There's botanical evidence on the back of the clothing of George Zimmerman, and it seems that little by little what we're hearing seems to support the close-in struggle with Zimmerman on the bottom. The gunshot evidence indicates it was a very close-in shot, perhaps 6 inches to maybe at the most 18 inches, indicating a struggle.
But no blood. It's not a lot of blood. No blood on the clothing. No blood on no DNA under the fingernails of Trayvon Martin. Yes. Where is the forensic evidence of this struggle?
Well, sometimes forensics doesn't have all the answers, but whatever you do have, you're using it to either corroborate or negate the story that George Zimmerman is telling. Trayvon's not here to tell a story. The prosecutor's supposed to tell the story for Trayvon. But what I'm hearing is the state's case is getting weaker and weaker as every day goes by. I think they're going to be wrapping up pretty soon.
And Goldie, I want to go to you on this request that that prosecutors have made to bring in sort of evidence that George Zimmerman went to school, wanted to be a police officer, sort of studied the elements of the law. Because you do see in a lot of the way that he talks to police officers that he kind of sounds like them, that he uses terminology that a police officer would use, and that he essentially maybe even saw himself in that role. Do you think that that would be, I guess, dispositive for the prosecution to put on evidence that George Zimmerman may have really understood the elements of how to defend himself even before police questioned him?
I think that's a real issue, but I have to agree with the people who spoke before me that even though I've got some problems with George Zimmerman's testimony, even though I've got some problem with how it seems to not jive with the physical evidence that we've heard so far, that I think the prosecution has got to put on a much stronger case to get the conviction that they're looking for.
And very quickly, last word, Michael Eric Dyson, I mean, if this prosecution falls apart, what do you think the reaction? I mean, just give me a gauge of how people are feeling about the way it's going.
I don't think there's much expectation that Mr. Zimmerman will be found guilty. I think that masses of people who are invested in this case because their children are vulnerable, like Trayvon Martin, feel that he is being re-traumatized and that there's little hope that he'll be convicted.
All right. Well, many thanks to Michael Eric Dyson, Goldie Taylor, Robin Sachs, Jonas Spilber, as well as Lawrence Kobilinsky, and we will be right back.